Hey boos, it's your girl Nita Boo coming to bring you some real talk, no chaser. Warning, this video includes profanity. Yes, profanity. So if you can handle it, let's get started. We're here to talk about Power, Season 6, Episode 1, Murderers. First of all, we come on screen, getting ready. We ain't heard in about a year and a half. We're ready for the song. We got the memes up, got our hands ready, got our mouth ready to sing the song. And we hear something that's like, what? Somebody crooning? Trey Songz, where is Joe? What happened to Joe? 50 Cent, I'm gonna need you to explain yourself. What is going on? Do he owe you some money? What is going on? Do we need to do a GoFundMe? Get the PayPal Cash App set up for him to get this old song back on from season 1 through 5. They're gonna change it on season 6. I'm not having any of it. I did not like it at all. Okay, first scene, we're jumping right from the aftermath of the shooting. In season 5, the season finale, Tommy tries to shoot Ghost, ends up shooting Angela. She pushes him out the way, takes the bullet right in the chest. So now we're picking up in season 6. At the beginning, cue the ambulance, the police who are rushing to the hospital. The nurse makes Ghost wait in the area. She was like, "Are you her husband?" He was like, "Oh no, not exactly." I'm like, "Oh no, not at all. Try that." Then we're doing these quick cuts. We're back. Tommy actually calls Lakeisha on the phone. He's like real antsy. She's acting all hysterical, talking about Tommy. He's asking for some clothes and to meet up. He's already accustomed. She's getting accustomed. She's not accustomed. She's not built. So the third scene, we're going. Then you see Tommy meeting with Tasha. They actually meet up, discuss what happened. He told her what happened. He told her that, he ended up shooting Angela. He was trying to shoot Ghost. And she was like, "What do you mean you was trying to shoot Ghost?" He was like, "That motherfucker tricked me into killing my own father." She was like, "Oh my God." He was like, "I need an alibi. I need you to give me an alibi." She was like, I'm not giving you no alibi because you guys need to fix this. I did not authorize. I'm not cool with either of you trying to kill each other. I'm not with it. So y'all need to fix it. And so she was just like, you took a shot at the devil and you missed. You fucked up. She was talking about Terry Silver, talking about he's missing, all this other stuff. So anyway, so that was just like a whole lot dramatic. So then the next scene, we go to Ghost. He's back in the waiting room, just waiting. He's having these flashbacks, reminiscing about Angela. He's still just kind of like just waiting. And so, time is just moving on and stuff like that. So we just, seeing him go through the whole thing or whatever. Then next thing you know, you see Paz, Angie's sister, come through the door. And she's coming through almost like she's in shock a little bit. And the next thing you know, when she focuses on Jamie, she's like, "You murderer! You murderer! You murderer!" And she goes and she's attacking him. And next thing you know, they're like falling to the floor. And I guess James clicked in his head, when you call somebody a murderer, that means somebody's dead. So does that mean? Ding dong, the witch is dead. The wicked witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong.
Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
my God. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to get that out. I ain't like the bitch. Alright, so anyway, they sitting up in the joint, looking stupid, looking, sad, crazy. Okay, R.I.P. Whatever. Alright, so then next thing you know, you see Tamika, the boss of the, the federal agent office that they work at. They're at the federal building. She's eating her team alive, announcing to them that she is dead. She died on the table in surgery. Angela is gone. Dead. So, Sax still got a hard on for the whole, St. Patrick and the whole Rico case and all this other stuff. So then he's like pointing the finger. And then everybody was like, everybody dropped the ball. Donovan was supposed to have like a tail. Something was going on. And so, at the end of season 5, you remember she was supposed to be working out a deal. She wanted 24 hours to consider the walk. They had put a walk on the table for her to testify against Jamie. But she wasn't going to do that anyway. But so she left out. She ended up, she was talking to her attorney, and then next thing you know, she got a call from Ghost, and then so she met Ghost at that school building, and then that's where we all are at now. And then so all of that had happened, and so anyway, they were arguing and fussing and all that shit, and I guess Sax, of course, is still taking it personal. I don't think it's a personal thing. It's not that he fucked with Angela. It's not that he fucked with anybody on that thing. It was just like a white male ego thing about it. And he was just like in his feelings. And it didn't matter who, because he was trying to throw Angela under the bus. He put her as an accomplice. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he was always trying to save her ass or he cared anything about Angela. He did not care nothing about Angela. He's just like on his white and I say so and I'm going to find proof and I'm going to do this and do this because this black man ain't going to get one up on me. So that's what that's about. Alright, so next thing you know, we are at the next scene. PowerSTARZ is in the morgue of the hospital. She is crying over Angela's body. Angela's body is on a slab. She is dead. Because I almost thought, I was like, they're going to probably try to take her to witness protection. They're going to try to make her act like she's dead and all that stuff. Because Courtney Kemp, she loves Angela. Like, that's her little white savior, her little Hispanic female white savior person or whatever. But she wrote her and like she was above grade, and she was not. She was on that fuck shit too. So I saw all through this, but I was just like, they're gonna try to like fake her death and have her in witness protection and all this other stuff. So that's what I thought that they was gonna do. But when she came out at the end of season 5, and she was just like, Angela is still alive. I said, oh no, that bitch dead. I said, why would somebody have a cliffhanger on their show and not even a day or two announce on Twitter talking about Angela hasn't died, she's still alive? I said, no, she's trying to throw people off the scent or whatever. And so I kept thinking, I was like, well, maybe she's not going to do it. But I kept it in the back of my mind. But all the while, when she gave that up at the end of the season, I was like, why the fuck would she do that? And then so I was just like, nah, she dead for real. Like, she just trying to throw you off the scent or whatever. So it can be like more of a shock, which it was to some people, because it wasn't a shock to me. I'm like, I was glad either way. So, yes. Anyway, so she dead. So, Sax walks in while PowerSTARZ is crying over Angela's body. She's like in mourning and stuff like that. And she was like, "Who are you?" He was like, my name is Cooper Sax. And she was like, oh yeah, she talked about you a couple of times. She said you're an asshole. And he was like, yeah, she's pretty much accurate on that. And so he was just like, well, I need you to, authorize an autopsy for Angela so we can get all the evidence that we can get. I mean, every little bit of evidence is crucial to the case, and then she was just like, no, she wasn't with it. She didn't want to mutilate her sister's body. She didn't want to do all that. And he was just like, so he just tried to put like the guilt trip on her, Like, if you don't authorize it and some critical evidence is missing, all you can do is blame yourself. And that's so he walked out. And so I was like, whatever. Fuck you, Sax. Okay, so then next thing you know, we see Tommy meeting Lakeisha. She's, of course, borderline hysterical. That's just like her thing. She's in hysterics. Tommy asked her to throw the gun in the river. Now, this nigga had the gun wrapped up. Wasn't touching his hand. He had a wrap around the gun when he was giving it to her. She agreed. She took the gun, put it in her purse. He runs off, and then he's gone. He's left her with the gun. So then Tommy goes home. The next scene, he goes home. He's looking all around because I guess he figured Ghost was going to be there, or he just trying to make sure he not there. But of course he was there. So they get into a bit of a skirmish, a scuffle. In my opinion, I felt like Tommy got the best of Ghost. But that's just me. So they in the middle of this brouhaha. The next thing you know, Tyreek busts in the door. The gun, Tommy had a gun on his waist, and the gun fell to the floor when Ghost went to attack him with the cue ball thing. And the next thing you know, the gun fell on the floor, and then they all on the floor and they fighting over there in the corner. But then when Tariq came in, he came in and immediately picked up the gun and was like, "What is going on? Why are y'all fighting? What's going on? What's going on?" So then Ghost was like, "Why are you not in school?" And then next thing you know, they going back and forth. Tariq being hella disrespectful, of course, as per usual. Then Ghost said, Tariq said he wanted to talk to his Uncle Tommy. He had to do something with Uncle Tommy. He was like, "You don't gotta call him Uncle Tommy. He ain't a part of the family no more." He was like, "Well, it's a good thing that you don't get to make that decision." And so, I mean, it was just like, I'm like, I don't know why this nigga Ghost ain't never put this nigga Reek head through the wall. I don't know. I don't know no father that's going to let their son talk to them and disrespect them over and over and over again. One time, yeah, no. Like, I don't know what is going on in there. I don't know who's writing that part, what's not connecting. If we had white parents here, I don't know. But anyway, Ghost was like, "All right, talking about we ain't done with this, Tommy." He was like, "I am," and then he just rolled out on Reek, and I was just like, okay. So anyway, so next thing you know, the next scene, Proctor is just in a coffee shop chilling. Sax walks in, of course. How you know where he at? I don't know. He tells Proctor that Angela is dead and accuses him of leaking to tell James what was going on about the female witness, kind of implying that it was Angela and that he was the reason for Angela getting killed, because he released that she was going to be the female witness and she was going to turn against him. But Proctor's too smart for that. Proctor wasn't feeding in none of that bullshit. He was just like, "Oh no, it sounds like that's a problem on your end, because if you didn't let that information out, then that person couldn't have got that information, because if you didn't leak it out, then we trace it all the way back to the source. You're the leak." So basically he was just too smart, and he outmaneuvered him on that one. And so that was that. He couldn't even believe Angela was dead. He was like, "Angela dead?" He was like, "Oh my God," he was trying to play it off or whatever, but he was just like, he was just shook. So then, Cooper Sax, the next scene, Cooper Sax walks in to the federal building. He sees Tamika walking out with boxes, and that bitch looked pissed. You know how a black woman look when she looked pissed? That bitch was pissed. She tells him that they fired her black ass because it was so egregious of what happened. They needed a scapegoat. She was the scapegoat. They fired her black ass. And so now Jacob Warner's in charge. So who is Jacob Warner, you ask? None other than Harry Goldenblatt from Sex and the City, Charlotte's second husband, who also played an attorney in Sex and the City. So Sax walks in and to Warner's office to introduce himself. And he was like, "Where was you at when I came to your office?" And I was like, "Ooh, okay, so we about to like just put it on the table. I'm like, okay. So he was like, yeah, I was like following up on the lead. And so then he closes the door. And white privilege. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit up here. I'm gonna admit to my fault. And I'm not gonna get in trouble because why? Because I'm white. And so he admitted, and he was like, do you know what you're telling me? Do you know that I can, you could lose your license, you can get barred and all this other stuff? And here he go with this cockamamie plan again, talking about he about to set him up again and all this stuff. Now how many times do you get the fuck up as a white person? And Tamika fucked up that one time and she gone. But how many times has Sax fucked up? Okay, case closed. So next, he was like, okay, I'm going to let you go ahead with your little cockamamie plan. He was like, but if you fuck up, you're going to be in the unemployment line right behind Tamika. And I'm going to personally write up your indictment charges. And I was like, oh, okay then. So, the next scene, Tasha goes to Terry Silver's law firm. She goes there asking about him. She's going to the receptionist. The receptionist is like trying to tell her on the low, he's kind of like missing. The family filed a missing persons report. Tasha was all meek and timid, talking, all of that or whatever. And she was like, well, he's been hanging out with some dangerous people. And do you want to leave your name so the family can get in touch with you just in case there's any leads on, him, or if he's found, or, whatever? Tasha was like, fuck no. That bitch was like, pew, gone. She was like, never mind. Put the little church finger up and was like, pew. Alright. So, the next scene, Tommy and Jason meets up. Jason is like, so what's up with Alicia Jimenez? And Tommy's like, she's locked up. He was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. He was like, I want her dead. And then he was like, oh, well, that's going to take me some time. That's going to take some strategic planning to get taken care of. I can't do that right away, but I got you. Tommy always trying to smooth talk his way out of shit. So then he held up the little $2 million check. The Ghost, what you call that shit? Wash the money for it, so it's clean money or whatever. So, he gave Jason the $2 million check. He was like, yeah, my distro, I got that under control. That's not a problem no more. I got that. He was like, but I need that product like right now. Like my soldiers hungry. They ready to work. We ready to eat. And that's going to put money in your pocket. That's going to put money in my pocket. And Jason was like, all right, I'm going to holler at you tonight. I was like, ooh. I was like, dang. So he was like, nah, man, nah. I really just need that joy like right now. He was like, tonight. I was like, So in the background, we see that Jason is skeptical because, he talks Russian or something like that. I don't know if he's like that suburban or something like that. He's talking another language to his partners that he works with. And so you see from the title, the little subtitles, that he is suspicious of Tommy. He saw that he was in a little scuffle and stuff, like he got fucked up a little bit, and he was like, oh yeah, that's me and Ghost, and he was like this, that's gonna pose a problem, for me and my organization. Like anything can happen. I gotta make sure that, everything is cool with you and Ghost, and this is not gonna interfere with my business, and whoop-de-whoop. So they coming up with some kind of plan as to how they're going to figure out whether or not Ghost is honest, whatever. So then Ghost is blowing Tasha up, telling him to come see him. So she comes to his office, and he tells her that Angela is dead and that Tommy did it. And saying that he was trying to kill him. And Tasha said, I understand. She was like, you tricked him into killing his father. And he was like this, well, what are you talking about? He was like this, did you hear what I said? He was trying to kill me. Do you not care about the kids? I'm like, nigga, do you not care about the kids? Like, why are you putting it on her? I'm like, shh. I mean, you know, he got his motherfucking nerves, don't he? And then he's sitting up there talking about, she told him that Angela told her that Tommy was set up to kill his own father because of the pictures that he showed and all this other stuff to set it up, you know, to get his mind in the thing that he was snitching and stuff on them. But then so Tasha was just looking at him with the fucking face like, oh well. And then so he was just like, well, what about the kids? And he was like this, what about he killed the woman I love. He killed the woman I love. And the last thing she said out her mouth before she died was my name. And that kind of like stung Tasha, like stung her. Like I was like, oof. Like I just had to, I was like, you ain't shit, James. You was not shit. So she was like, you know what? You so fucking selfish. You are so fucking selfish. You only think about your own self. What about Terry? What about the man that I love? And then I'm like, I know she wasn't gonna say love her life because that's not the case. The man that she loves. She said the man that she loves. He was just loving on her, but she didn't love him and he didn't love her. She accuses him of it. He ain't even playing to it. And then he was like, you gotta help me fix it. You gotta help me fix it. She was like, I'm not helping you fix shit. You gotta take care of this shit. You take care of it. You got yourself into it. You take care of yourself. And I want a fucking divorce. I was like, womp womp. Anyway. So then okay, so then goes, oh shit. Okay, so my bad. So then Lakeisha is home with Cash. First time that we've ever seen him in the whole 6 seasons of Power. We've heard about him. We do know that there's a Cash. We know that there's a son. But guess what? We actually get to see him today. And guess what? Cash, her son, just like her, can't act worth a good goddamn. So anyway, Cash comes, he comes out of his bedroom talking about, Ma, can I get some waffles? And she was like, yeah. So she get up and her purse is laying on the table, on the breakfast table where he's sitting at. So he goes sit, she goes to the kitchen, go fix him some waffles or whatever. And I'm sitting up here, this little 13, 14-year-old boy, he can't fix himself no waffles. Girl, bye. So anyway, so he asking about Tommy. She was like, oh, you like Tommy? And then he's like, did you leave out? I thought I heard the door close in the middle of the night and woo woo woo. She was like, what's with the 20 questions or whatever? So then he starts going on her purse and then she come running. She start flipping out. Cash, don't go in my purse. Don't go in my purse. Don't go in my purse. Fussing at him and shit. He was like, God damn, Ma. It was like, damn, I was just trying to get some lunch money. And then she was like, don't go in my purse. I said, bitch, I know you ain't still got that hammer in your purse. So I'm sitting up there with the dumb, stupid look. She got to be the dumbest. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Anyway. So, that's that. So, she picks up her thing. You know, she fussing at him and shit, whatever. So, then the next scene, Proctor's at Ghost's place. Ghost flips out on him, jacks him up, talk about, you told me that Angie was flipping on me. You set me up. Proctor was like, no, I made a mistake. I thought they said it was a female witness, but it wasn't her. It's another female witness. He's like, what you mean? It wasn't her. What you mean you sorry? Like, sorry? You know, like, sorry? Like, bitch, that bitch is dead. You mean sorry for real? Like, sorry? I was like, ugh. I'm like, that's bad. So, anyway, he was like, you always said that she was going to choose herself, and she chose me. You kept saying she was going to choose herself, but she chose me. Say you was wrong. I was wrong. I was like, And he was like, well, it's another female witness that's going to testify against him. He was like, man, I can't think about this right now. He was like, well, did you kill her? He was like, fuck no, I ain't kill her. You know I ain't kill her. I was like, I love that girl. So then he was like, you know, he ended up fessing up to him because, you know, he never lied to Proctor about nothing. So he told Proctor, he was like, he's like, man, Tommy did that shit to me, man. He did that shit to me. And he was like, damn. He was like, well, if you ain't gonna turn him in, he was like, nah, he gonna get sent home in the body bag, but he not going to prison. Like I'm not sending him to prison. He's going in the body bag. So he was like, well, we need to get ahead of the narrative. We need to go in there to the federal building, plead your case, clear your name. It's best for you to go with your hands in front of you, then behind you. So he agreed, I guess, because he ended up going there later on down the line. So the next scene, Tommy meets up with the distro people. So he goes there. It's like 2-bit. There's a Scampy, whatever the little dude with the glasses or whatever the Coke bottle glasses dark skin dude that's with 2-bit all the time. And Poncho and Roberto. So as soon as they see him, they see him with that damn shiner on his eye. And they just start clowning that nigga. They was clowning him like shit. I was like, that shit was so funny. Especially when, God, I can't think of his name. But the dude that's like 2-bit's little, side, man. He was like, this man, if somebody abuse you at home, they got places that you can go and you can call about that. I was cracking up. The next thing you know, Poncho, he takes it to a whole nother level. He was like, man, you shouldn't even be here. You need to take some karate classes. I was just like, nigga, you ain't funny. So, anyway, so they was just clowning him or whatever. And then, like, Tommy, he just took the joint on the chin for a minute. For a minute. A hot minute. Now, we're going to keep on going. So, of course, Tommy got to break the news to him because they sitting up there waiting for the product, right? So he got to break the news and say that he ain't got the product. That bear with him, give him a couple more hours. He gonna get it to him and stuff like that. Then so Poncho takes it upon himself to get start talking that hot shit. I said, don't push him because he close to the edge. And so next thing you know, Poncho was like, this man, he was like, we gotta eat. We got families to feed and and all this hot shit or whatever. And then so he got up and got buck with him. And I was just like, I'm sitting there and Tommy was just like, I saw how his whole demeanor, it just changed. The next thing you know, he got out of pocket. He pulled the piece out. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to chill out. Check yourself and chill out. Pulled it out, gave him the warning. That nigga was like, man, fuck you. You ain't shit without ghosts. Why he say that? Boom! Didn't think about it. Wasn't even it wasn't even a second thought. It was just like on auto. Like as soon as the disrespect, it was like boom. One straight to the head. And then he was like, so then, Roberto, he's with the Soldados with Poncho. And so, that's his that was his number 2. So then they put the gun on him. They was like, we got a problem? He's like, you about to get a promotion or you can end up like your boy Poncho did. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm with you all the way. He was like, all right. He was like, well, I don't know what you gonna say to tell the Soldados, but you better keep my motherfucking name out your mouth. You heard me? I was like, oof. 2-bit was like, I ain't clean that shit up. So all the rest of them was cleaning it up or whatever. So then the next scene, Warner meets up with Sergeant Nosy Ass. Her name is Blanca. She gets on my freaking nerves. It's something about these Latino people, police, lawyers, whatever. They just be on something else. Like, they just think they is too good or whatever. So this Sergeant Nosy Ass wants him to create a task force because she pulled his card and she was just like, this office has been having problems since the beginning of time. She was sitting up there. She was an accomplice. She was working with them. She was protecting them. Then you got somebody leaking the information. So she's like pouring it on. And like, you need somebody because, she's with the NYPD. And so she was like, create a task force and put me on it. So then He was mulling it over. They never showed what his answer was, but we'll get back to that later on. So the next scene, Tariq walks out the store and runs smack into his mother. His mother getting out the car, and he was like, "This mom, how you find me?" And her dumb ass gonna sit up there and admit that she tracking his phone. I said, "Bitch, that's the last time you gonna be able to track that phone. You don't tell your left hand what the right hand is doing. Who does that?" I was just like, these parents, like, what the fuck is going on with them? So anyway, they're going back and forth and stuff like that. And then so anyway, he ends up making a deal to meet at Uncle Tommy's house in an hour. So she gives him an hour or whatever. You know, Tommy was like, he had to take care of that business, but then he ain't get no business. So then he's going to meet up with Tariq. So then, the next scene, you see Ghost and Joe at the federal building trying to clear his name, the questioning, and they're like, you know, harping on, like, why did you meet her there, and why did you lure her there to that old school, and, you know, all of that. And then, so, next thing you know, Joe was just like, because, you know, he know it's the, you know, he's not going to lie. I mean, it's not a lie that he didn't kill her, so he was just like, tell him what happened or whatever. So he advised him to answer the question. They kept twisting his words, and, you know, he kept his cool. He was like, no, I didn't kill her. No, I didn't kill her. So, I mean, they just kept, and he was just like, no. And then he was like, I love her. And then he caught himself, and then he was like, I loved her. And, you know, like, past tense, like, that shit, like, fucked him up or whatever. So, then we go over to, Tommy and Reek. They look like they're on some kind of rooftop. And Tommy is up there smoking or whatever, and Reek is just like, you know, trying to talk to him, trying to be, you know, like serious about what they about to do. And so Reek, you remember when Kanan died, when he went to the morgue or whatever, they gave him his ashes and some other little things that belong to him. So he wanted to do like a little memorial for his little surrogate dad, Kanan. So Reek was like, I don't even really know what to say. I don't even know what to say. And then this motherfucker, Tommy turns on his phone and puts on Bone Thugs and Harmony. Boom, 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 boom. I said, this boy is a fucking fool. He is crazy. So then Tariq was looking at him like he was fucking crazy. He was like, and he turned it off, whatever. And then Tom was like, oh, damn, he's serious, ain't he? So he was like, my bad, sorry, Reed. So then he said his little words talking about we was just riding together, and you know, I don't know, did it seem like a fake apology or something like that? I don't know if it was like an apology, but you know, he kind of like you know, did a little thing, and then Tommy wanted to smoke some of his ashes and shit like that and all that or whatever. Then he poured his ashes off the side, and then he was like, man, you know how you told me I'm just like my father, like, you know, I turned on Kanan in order to save the family. And Tommy was like, man, that shouldn't even have been up to you. That shouldn't even have been in your hands. You shouldn't have make no kind of decision like that. That's fucked up. He was like, don't blame yourself for that shit. It is what it is. And then he was like, man, you know, he was like, why was you and my father fighting? And then Tommy was like, well, I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with you. He was like, man, he made me do some fucked up shit. He did some snake ass shit. He was like, this what that bitch ass snake motherfucker do? I said, oh, not the snake bitch ass nigga. I said, Lord. So then Tommy was like, yeah, he like tricked me into killing my father. He was like, your father? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, I can't never forgive him for that. I said, we was just getting close and all this other stuff. He was like, just, man, that was just some low down dirty shit, and I can never forgive him for that shit. And just like he can't never forgive him for that shit, James ain't gonna never forgive him for Angela. So it's gonna be a wash. I don't know how it's gonna play out. I mean, of course, it's gonna continue to play out to drag it out for the season. But at the same time, them niggas gonna end up killing each other because that shit is crazy. So, because I don't think either one of them are gonna let up about that. And so, So Tommy was like, well, what would you do if something bad happened to your father? And then Tariq was like, man, honestly, I can't even tell you. I don't even know. I don't even know. He was like, well, Tariq, he said, no matter what, I'll always pick up the phone for you. And he was like, I'll always pick up the same here, Uncle Tommy. I'll always pick up the phone for you too. So then, we go to Tommy and Reek going to Tommy's house. You know, he drives and Tommy get out the driver's seat. He opened the door. I think Reek got out the door and they dapped up each other because, you know, Tasha was supposed to be picking them up from Tommy's house. So I guess they was right there in front of Tommy's house. And Ghost is spying, like watching Tommy and stuff like that. And he was surprised to see Reek with him. And he was just like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like, I can't believe he like hanging out with him like tough like that. So it probably like stung because he ain't got no good relationship with Reek and stuff like that. And he probably just like, man, he trying to take my place and shit like that. So that shit probably made him feel away or whatever. So I was like, he had grabbed a hammer like he was gonna like rock a bye baby and shoot him like in the middle of the daylight. I was like, okay, so what is going on? Is Ghost like tripping? Like, is he like tripping? So anyway, he put the gun back in his pocket and then he walked away. So then Tasha picks up, we see Tasha and Reek in the car. She picks him up. She was like, did you do anything illegal? Is it something that I need to know about or whatever? He was like, no, Ma. He was like, it was private. Me and Tommy took care of it and that's done. So then she was like, well, she was like, I guess I should tell you that I'm getting a divorce and I'm not going back into the penthouse. He was like, I wish I could divorce his ass too. And she was like, and then he said something foul about Angela. I don't know exactly what he said. But she was like, well, I think you should know Angela's dead. And he was like this, well, ain't you happy? She was the reason that our life was ruined and ruined our family and stuff like that. Aren't you happy? She was like, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. If it wasn't for her, you'd be in jail. Shit, we all be in jail. He was just like, well, if it wasn't for her, we'll still be a family. He was like, she ruined our family. She was like, no, Ghost ruined our family. Your father ruined our family. And then so he was like, well, how did she die? He was like, then I guess, you know, it was like, yeah, he was like, trying to put two and two together, like, you know, he just went the whole thing and they was fighting, him and Tommy was fighting, and then she's telling him that she's dead. So he's like putting the pieces together and, you know, trying to figure out what she's saying without saying. And then he was like, well, did Uncle Tommy do it? Did he kill Angela? She was like, don't choose sides between your father and Tommy. You'll get hurt. And I was like, okay. So she told him without really telling him, but she told him. So then it looked like he was just like fucked up. Like he like put his hands over his head and his eyes was closed. And it was just like he's trying to process the information. And so anyway, we go to the next scene. The next scene is, Proctor. He's with his daughter at the recital. You know, she's asking about her mom. Where's my mom? And he was like, oh, honey, I don't know. She probably out there doing a dipper or something. Then Warner shows up and asks her to go play for $20. She was like, $20? What can I do with that? And then he was like, well, what about my friend Benjamin instead? She was like, nice doing business with you. Proctor was like, I don't know where she get it from. I'm like, nigga, we know who she get it from. So, you know, Warner, he's trying to work him, and, you know, because he don't really know about Proctor. But Proctor let him know real fast. You know, this is not my first day around the rodeo. So then, you know, he offers him a walk, but, you know, Joe, he loyal, unbothered, unshooketh. So he pretty much was just like, you know, dodging them questions like a dodgeball. And so Warner was like, all right, well, it's your funeral. And maybe literally your funeral. And then so he walks off. So then the next scene, we see Tasha and her mother. They're at a restaurant. her mother seems optimistic about Angie's death. She's like, oh, well, I've heard about couples getting back together for less. I said, oh, mama cutthroat like a motherfucker. Like, okay, that bitch gone. You better go ahead and get your man. And she was like, you know what Ghost did to me? You know, she was like, girl, you ain't got no money. You ain't got no plan. You ain't got no this. You ain't got no that. You can't do this. I mean, she totally like, I mean, well, goddamn. I was like, your mother don't believe in you at all, do she? Because it's a no. She was just like, I mean, she just like stomped all over my self-esteem. Like, I felt bad for her. I was like, well, shit. You ain't shit, Tasha. Your mother said so. Then Tasha was like, I had a plan. Terry was my plan. I think Ghost killed Terry, mama. She was like, what the fuck you think? I said, oh. You think he gonna let you get away? You think you going somewhere? He not gonna let you get away. I said, ooh, mama. That mama cutthroat, ain't she? So then next thing you know, you see Paz and Ghost in Angie's hallway. He offers to pay for the funeral. She says she'll die before she take anything from him. So next thing you know, she walks off or whatever. She meets Sax in the morgue, and she signs off on the autopsy. Signs off on the papers and gives him authorization. I'm like, I don't know. Do you know what you signing? You sure you signing the autopsy papers or something like that? And not no federal witness papers. You know how, you know, them motherfuckers just dirty. Like, I was still trying to figure out. She just came down there and just started signing away, bitch. I'm like, did you even look? Did you look? But anyway, so she signed the papers. We assume it's for the autopsy paperwork. She said, you better get him. And then he was like, I promise we will. So then he walks over to Angela's body and unzips the thing and talking about, don't worry, Angela, we're gonna get that son of a bitch. Then Sergeant Nosy Ass walks in talking about, who exactly are you going to get? I said, this nosy. And then so she comes in. She said, it sounds like you know a little bit more than what you're letting on. He was like, who are you? And then so she was like this, you know, Sergeant Blanca, da-da-da-da-da. And, yeah, Warner created a task force, so it looks like we are partners. And so he probably was like, this bitch. Because I know that's what the fuck I was saying. This bitch. So then, anyway, the next thing you know, we see Tasha dumbass sitting in her truck calling Terry Silver's voicemail back to back, listening to his voicemail. I'm like, bitch, he don't even sound sexy or nothing. I was just like, what in the world? Like, he was not cute. He was not sexy. He halfway looked like he was gay. Like, what was the attraction there? Like, I don't get it. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So anyway, so she's listening to the voicemail over and over again, crying, going through all the emotions. I'm like, girl, bye. So then next thing you know, she started blowing up Keisha's phone. So then we see dumbass LaKeisha at the fucking bridge with her cell phone pinging because Tasha's calling her. Pinging cell phone. Bitch, you don't have a burner? I was just like, okay. So pinging her cell phone so they can ping the towers to find out her location. This dumb bitch takes the hammer out her purse, no gloves on, not wrapped up, looking all around, back and forth, looking guilty as fuck. Then finally throws the motherfucking gun out there, barehanded. I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I was like, I know that's going to come back and bite her in the ass. Number one, cell phone pinging off the tower. That's number one. Number two, Tommy gave the gun to you with no fingerprints on it. He gave it to you wrapped up in the white cloth. You takes it out with your bare hands. So if they pulled a camera, from any kind of surveillance that they have around the bridge for New York City, where you at, where your phone pinging and locate you, and you looking all suspicious, and girl, you going to jail. Do you know that? I know that. You're going to jail, dumbass. So the next thing you know, Reek end up calling Ghost. Ghost is sitting in his truck. He's loading a gun in his truck, and he's talking to Reek, and Reek was like, I heard about Angela, I ain't really fuck with her like that. He was like, yeah, I know you ain't really mess with her like that. He was like, but I know how it was. Ain't nobody cared when Kanan died, but it hurt me, and I didn't want that to be the case for you. So I wanted to, reach out and say, I'm sorry or whatever, that you're upset or that you're sad or whatever you're going through or whatever because of her death and stuff. He was like, for whatever that's worth. And then he was like, it's worth everything, my son, by my son. I said, boy, if you don't get your white, half white, privileged, dumbass, get on my damn nerves. So that his roommate, when he got off the phone with Ghost, he was like, I thought you ain't fuck with your father like that. You ain't like your father like that. He was like, I don't. I'm just playing nice for now. He was like, all right, cool. So then we see where his mind at. Next thing you know, Jason and Tommy meets up for the product. Jason gives him this big dumbass bear hug, and you can kind of hear that he was doing something. And it ends up that he stole his car keys out of his jacket with that big hug or whatever to execute the plan to see whether or not, Ghost was telling him and what was going on. And then so, he keep on asking about Ghost. He was like, I was just making sure that the check cleared. I got your product. I got everything. Everything is all good. And he just kept on saying, everything good with you and Ghost, right? He's like, yeah. So next thing you know, Ghost is sitting up there with I don't know if it's an AK-47 or whatever. But he comes out the shadow after he sees Tommy's car pull out, like it's going out into, trying to get the product or whatever. As soon as Ghost sees Tommy's car, he sprayed that joint. Like spray that joint. Like he made sure if Tommy was in that car, Tommy was dead. Or whoever was in that car was dead. But it wasn't Tommy. So then he runs off or whatever, walks off. Then Jason and Tommy walks up to the car, and he was like, I thought you said everything all good with you and Ghost. Don't look like shit too good to me. He was like, so what you gonna do? He said, you gonna run and hide or you gonna stand up and fight? And, Tommy, he was like shook. He was sitting up there like, he's like, it's probably the premieres. It's probably them Soldados for what I did to Poncho. He was like, nah, nigga, it ain't. It's Ghost. And so he was like, what you gonna do? You gonna run or you gonna stand up and fight? Then the next scene you see, Ghost is in the car. He's sitting up there shook like he just killed his brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it really took a toll on him. So it was just like, he really killed him. Because we already saw whoever was in that car was dead. And he thought Tommy was in the car. So, he came to a realization that, Angela's dead and Tommy dead. Like, he ain't got no wife, his family, Raina dead. It's just a lot going on. So then Tommy goes to Keisha's house. He grabs the bottle of wine, drinks it. She's holding all on him, talking about Ghost still alive. And he's starting to regret it. He's really starting to regret it. So they just standing there, and that's how the scene ends. Then Ghost goes to Angie's house, reminiscing and going through the house, all all slow with the slow music, and just going through. And then Ghost, after he takes his final lap around the house, he closes the door. do like a little sniffle tid thing, and then say, "I'm sorry, Angie." And then he walks away, and then the gangster ghost appears when he walks away. So the last scene was Keisha and Tommy talking about, this is war, Keisha. We are going to war. Like, he's like, you and Cash need to go away. I need to send y'all away. And she was like, if I can help, I'm staying. He said, man, I don't know how this shit gonna end. I don't know how it's gonna go. She was like, I'm staying. And he told her about the gun, talking about, she was like, that was Angela's body on there. He was talking about, he told her Angela was dead, and she's like, oh my God, so that's whose body was on that gun? So yeah, bitch, your dumb ass then killed a federal prosecutor. Okay, yeah, your prints is on that gun. Yeah, dumb ass. So anyway, that's how the episode ends. Alright guys, sorry about the long review, but I'm trying to make it thorough for you. I have a couple more power videos coming. I like to do a breakdown of the MVPs, the creep ambassador, the turn up worthy characters, the turn down worthy characters. Like, I'm going to do a breakdown about that later on. I hope you'll join me back for that one. But I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't see Power Season 6, Episode 1, you might as well have seen it, because I gave you a play-by-play recap of it. So, next week, the video will be on time. And I'm sorry about the delay in this one, but thank you for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And I plan on doing the same. Alright. Bye, boos.